Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really powerful fable that asks a fundamental question. What's the true measure of wealth? Is it about the gold you can stack up, or is it about the kind of peace you have in your heart?
All right, so our story gets started in a village called Satyapur, which actually means City of Truth, and it's here that we meet the two men at the center of it all.
So, you got these two guys, and they are complete and total opposites. On one side, you have Dhani a rich merchant. To the public, he's a pillar of the community, but behind the scenes, he's a cheat, using magnets on his scales, putting pebbles in his grain. You get the picture. And on the other side, there's Dinu, a humble farmer whose only real currency is his honesty.
Dhani, you see, lived by this really simple kind of cynical philosophy. He figured, sure, honesty might keep you from starving, but it's never going to make you rich. For him, being dishonest wasn't some kind of moral failure. It was just a tool, a practical way to get ahead.
Dinu's whole view on life was the exact opposite. I mean, his neighbors would tell him, hey, just add a little water to your milk, you'll make more money, but he just wouldn't do it. He cared way more about having a clear conscience than a few extra coins. For Dinu, real wealth was something you could never count. It was being able to sleep soundly at night.
So, this is where things get interesting. A crisis hits the village, and these two very different ways of life are about to be put to the ultimate test. The whole conflict really kicks off when a famine hits Satyapur. Now, for most people, this is a total tragedy. But for a guy like Dhani, all this suffering, well, it's just a golden opportunity to make a profit. And you can see exactly who they are by how they react. Dhani starts hoarding his grain, creating a fake shortage, and then jacks up the price to 3 times what it should be. He's totally exploiting his desperate neighbors. Dinu, though, he sells the little he has at a fair price, choosing to help his community instead of profiting from their pain.
So you see the problem for Dhani, right? Dinu's honesty is actually bad for business. If people can get grain at a fair price, they're not going to pay his crazy prices. So he comes up with this cold, calculated plan to get rid of the competition by framing Dinu for a crime he absolutely did not commit.
So it looks like it's all over for Dinu. He's about to be condemned on totally false evidence. But then, a wise government collector steps in. He can see right through the whole thing and suggests a really unusual trial, one that isn't about evidence but about character.
On the surface, the task sounds pretty straightforward. Both men have to walk to a temple on a hill and bring back a sacred vessel. But the collector adds one very important rule. No horses, no carts. You see, he knows that the journey itself is going to be the real test of who they are.
And a first test pops up right there on the path. A pouch that's just overflowing with gold coins, looking like someone lost it. It's a direct challenge, right? It's designed to see what they'll do when they think nobody is watching. And wow, their reactions tell you everything you need to know. Dhani greed is instant. He shoves the pouch into the dirt, planning to come back for it later. Dinu, his first thought is about the poor person who lost it. He hangs the pouch high up on a tree branch, making sure it would be easy for the real owner to find. Okay, so the next test isn't about greed. This one goes deeper. It's a test of their basic human compassion. And right here is where you really see the core difference between them. Dhani just sees this thirsty traveler as an obstacle, something slowing down his race to the temple. But Dinu sees another human being who needs help. For him, helping is way more important than winning. So he stops and gives away his own water and food without a second thought. So for the final test on the road, it all comes down to a simple choice of paths. But it's a choice that really represents their entire lives, you know? Do you take the shortcut, or do you stick to the honest, clear route?
Dhani, who's always looking for an angle, of course, takes what he thinks is the easy shortcut. But it turns out to be full of thorns and mud, which is a pretty perfect metaphor for a dishonest life, isn't it? Dinu just follows the path he was told to take. It's longer, sure, but it's clear and true.
So they finally make it to the temple, and there's one last choice waiting for them. Everything has been leading up to this moment. At the temple, they find 2 vessels, and it's one last symbolic choice. One is this beautiful, shiny, golden vessel, and the other is just a plain, ordinary pot made out of simple clay. Dhani gets there first, all exhausted and muddy, and he doesn't even hesitate. To him, value is always on the outside. He snatches the golden pot, totally convinced he's won. And on his way back down, he even mocks Dinu, who's still struggling up the hill. Just pure arrogance. Back in the village, Dhaniram is showing off the golden vessel. His supporters are cheering. He thinks it's over. But the collector, he's just got this calm, knowing look on his face. He's just watching, waiting for the real verdict. And then it happens. And this incredible moment of justice, as Dhaniram is gripping the pot, that gleaming gold vessel just turns black as coal, right there in his hands. Foul smoke starts rising from it, and the whole crowd just goes silent. So as everyone is just recoiling in shock, the collector finally stands up to explain what was really going on and the true meaning of this whole vessel of justice.
The collector lays it all out. The entire journey was just an elaborate integrity test. The thirsty man, the bag of gold, they were all his agents in disguise. And that so-called golden pot, it wasn't treasure at all. It was chemically treated to react to the touch of a corrupt person. Cornered, Dhaniram's accomplice just confesses to the whole thing.
And then there's Dinu. He arrived later, holding that simple clay pot, and he's just been standing there quietly. His vessel is totally unchanged. It's pure. It's a symbol of this timeless truth, that things that look valuable on the outside, like gold, can be flashy and easily corrupted. But true, intrinsic value, the kind you find in an honest character, that's as real and enduring as the earth itself.
And that really brings it all back to us, doesn't it? We all face our own versions of that path, with our own choices between what's shiny and what's real. This story asks us to think about not just what we do, but how we measure success in the first place. So, in our own lives, which vessel, which measure of worth are we really choosing to carry?